Hey guys, Jimmy Pitstick here. So, you've always wanted to learn how to play guitar. It's not that difficult, I'm here to tell you. We're going to start off with some real basics today, and then in the next lessons that will be coming up after this lesson, I'm going to show you some various things that will have you playing in no time. The first thing we want to do is let's just talk about guitars for a minute. We could talk guitars all day long, but you want to buy something decent that's going to stay in tune. So I would recommend getting online and finding like a Yamaha or a Takamine or something like that. You don't want to spend more than, $150 or something like that. The next thing you want to do is you want to have the guitar set up properly by a professional. This is going to cost you probably around $40, $45 if you take it to a luthier. Just call around and ask and look at the ratings. But it's going to be real important to have the guitar set up properly so it's real easy to play. Those are the first two things you want to do. The next thing is you're going to want to buy one of these little tuners. They make all different types of clip-on tuners, and my favorite is the Snark, or what they call the Super Snark, and you just clip it on the headstock of the guitar, and then you go through and tune. So let's talk about, there's a little bit of memorization that goes in starting out before you want to play. And we're going to talk about naming the strings, okay? Now, first of all, there's 6 strings on this guitar right here. This is the first string right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first string is the high E. The 6th string is going to be on the top. You would think the first string would be up here on the top, but it's not. The first string is the high E down here on the bottom. So if we start with the 6th string and go down, the names of the strings are going to be E, A, D, G, B, E. And I have a little saying, Elvis ate donuts going back east. Okay, it's real easy. You just say Elvis ate donuts going back east. The second one that we want to memorize is going from the first string and going up. This one right here is elephants barely go down an escalator. So you can just play the string game and memorize these strings. If I pick this 3rd string, it's the 3rd from the top. I say Elvis ate donuts, that's the D string. Or if I start from the bottom down here, B, elephants barely, that's the B string. Just get those in your head. It's real simple to memorize those, and then you'll be ready to get going. The next thing we want to talk about is how we actually practice with the left hand, because we're going to be spending a lot of time with the left hand. If you notice, I don't have a pick in my right hand. We don't even need to bring the pick in at this point in time. We've got to get this left hand, or if you're a left-handed guitar player and you have a guitar flipped around, your right hand, of course. But we want to get this left hand going and doing some specific things, okay? So there's a lot of hand-eye coordination that's involved in playing the guitar. The first thing I want to do, I want to go up the neck. Now let's talk about up, because a lot of times I'll say go up and people will move their hand this direction. That's not up. Up is towards the sound hole, because if you listen to the notes, they get higher as you go towards the sound hole. So this is always up and this is always down. So we're going to go up the neck. And we're going to find, usually most guitars have little double dots on the 12th fret, and somewhere around the 12th fret I'm going to put my 4th finger. And in each separate fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to put a different finger. And I'm going to look down, and I'm going to start with my 1st finger, and I'm going to lift and then put it back down. And then I'm going to do my 2nd finger, lift and put it back down. Then my 3rd finger, lift and put it back down. And then my 4th finger. And then I'm going to go backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the first thing you want to do before you start playing. It's just warming up. If you play soccer or something like that, you go out. You don't just go out on the center circle and they blow the whistle and you start, take off running. You warm up. You practice. Same thing with playing guitar. You want to warm up. Or if you're playing a gig, you want to make sure you warm up. This is one of these things I do before I'm going on stage to play a gig. A lot of times I'll just go over here. Also, it kind of takes my mind off of, maybe I have some nerves going and some adrenaline going on and stuff. But I can just focus on doing this and playing my guitar and kind of getting warmed up before I go out and hit the stage. And this is usually the first thing I do. And then I start jumping in and playing some chords and things. Okay, The next thing we're going to talk about is, this is super important, but it's called the Nashville number system. And I always tell people that's the first thing you need to learn on the guitar. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. The other thing I call it is the 1-4-5 rule. And the 1-4-5 rule tells me what chords go together. Now, if we talk about our musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then it gets to G and starts over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we're going to learn over the next few lessons, we're going to learn all 5 of the major keys, okay? The major keys are A, C, D, E, and G. A, C, D, E, and G. Those are my 5 major keys. You notice we skipped over B and F. So if you think of BFF, like your best friends forever, they're your worst friends forever for guitar, okay? We don't play in the key of B or F starting out. We're going to learn these 5 major keys, and we're going to learn how to play the 1-4-5 chords in those. And then you'll be playing songs in no time. You can be looking them up and playing your own songs on the internet within no time if you learn how this 1-4-5 rule works, okay? So we're going to start with A. And we start with A, and we're going to put our finger up like this, and we're going to go A, B, C, D. So A was our 1 chord, or the key. Now, key is a weird word, isn't it? I always thought, like, man, that kind of sounds strange, but what they're talking about is, like, if you and your friends were going to be going out, and they all started over at your house, all your friends came over to your house, and then you were going to go out to a movie or something like that. The key is the starting point, okay? So we're going to start with A, the first chord, okay? And then we're going to count up to 4. So it's A, B, C, D is my 4 chord, and then what comes after D? E. A, D, and E. Those 3 chords you can play a ton of songs with, okay? So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at how to play an A chord. What I'm going to do, you can look for chord charts. You can just Google this and put in there A chord for guitar, and it'll bring up tons of them. It'll show you exactly how to do it. But if you look at a chord chart, it'll tell you exactly where to put your fingers and what frets to put them on, okay? So we're going to talk about frets for a minute. This right here is called a nut, and it's where the strings are, the notches are cut out to hold the strings. And this nut between this and this actual fret that's embedded into the wood of the guitar is called the first fret. So this is my first fret. This is my second fret. This is my third fret. All the chords that you're going to be playing are going to be learned up here at the first position, which is the first fret on the guitar. These are called open chords. Sometimes people call them cowboy chords, because you think about cowboys back in the day. They'd be sitting around a campfire and they'd be playing all these songs. And it's real simple. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to play an A chord. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first finger. I'm going to count from the bottom. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go up 4 strings. I'm going to put my first finger right there on that string. My second finger is going to come up 1, 2, 3 on the next string, and then I'm going to go 1, 2. Now look, I'm starting to run out of room here, so I'm going to move these 2 back a little bit, put my third finger right there, and I'm on an A chord right there. So that's the first chord. Very simple. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now to learn a new chord, what we're going to do, we're going to do this rule called, or this game called on again, off again. So we're going to take that A chord and we're going to press down to the wood. Not any harder than that. I don't want to bruise those fingertips, but I'm going to press down to the wood, and then I'm going to take the fingers off and then put them back on again. I'm going to do this like 10 times, because what we're trying to create is muscle memory. So when you think A chord, you're sitting here, your hand will go straight to the A chord, okay? Now, what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and play from the A string. We talked about Elvis 8 Donuts, so I'm going to find this. This is called the root string of the A chord. Chords are built on what's called triads or thirds. We don't have to get into all that today, but we're going to show you how to play your first chord. It's called an A chord. So what we do is we put all 3 fingers right there on the second fret like that. Now I don't have to, when I come off again, I don't have to lift my fingers out like this. I'm keeping these fingers kind of together. Together is better, okay? So we're going to go like this, and we're going to squeeze. Now, another thing is I want to have this flat part of my thumb right here behind it, so I have a nice back wall to squeeze into. And then I'm going to take this thumb on my right hand. A lot of people keep their hand open right here. Don't do that. Have a nice closed just a loose fist with that thumb sticking out, just like that, and come straight down from the A string and just play each individual string until you get that sound. You may have a little buzz somewhere and it might sound like. You want to keep doing this on again, off again until you get that buzz out. And we need to develop those muscles in the left hand to be able to play that. Your fingertips after a while are going to get a little sore. That's a good thing because you'll build up calluses and they'll go away in no time at all. The A chord, that's it right there. And you can look up and find a chord chart on how to play this A chord. The next thing is we're going to go to this 4 chord or the D chord. The D chord, we're going to take our first finger and I'm going to go up starting from the first string down here at the bottom. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my first finger right there on the third string, second finger right there on the first string, and then I'm going to put my third finger in the third fret on the B string or second string from the bottom. This is a triangle shaped chord. This one's a little bit more difficult than A. Again, on again, off again, on again, off again. Now I want to show you something to teach a little lesson inside of a lesson. If I take this first finger and I put it on the first string on the first fret and I play this note like that, it's pretty simple to play. But if I move to the middle of the fret, it gets a little harder, or to the back of the fret, it's very difficult. So what I want to do is move that, when I'm playing these chords, move that up to the fret as close as I can get. I can be against the fret, but I don't want to be on top of the fret, okay? A lot of common mistakes that people make when they're starting out, they do this D-shaped chord, but they're too far back in the fret, and they get a bad sound when they're playing their D chord. So you want to move that up against the fret. And then again, do my on again, off again 10 times. From there, I'm going to find the root of D. Elvis 8 donuts. So that D string is right there. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4th string from the bottom. And I'm going to play that until I get a nice tone with D. The 5th chord of the A, key of A, is going to be your E chord. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first finger, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to find first fret, 3rd string. And I'm going to come up there and put my first finger there. My second finger is going to go on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and then my third finger is going to go on the 4th string. I'm always saying 4th string from the bottom on the 2nd fret. Now I have an E chord right here, okay? This is a cool chord because Elvis, the E, are the root of that chord. The root is always the name of the key. If the key is, or the name of the chord. If the chord's E, the root of that chord is E. If the chord's A, the root of the chord's A, and so on and so forth. This is E. I love this chord because you get to play what? All 6 strings on the guitar. It sounds amazing when you play all 6 strings on the guitar. So again, we're going to do a little on again, off again. See how these 2 fingers are kind of staying together? A lot of times I see beginners kind of separate these fingers. Don't do that. Keep these fingers together right here. These 2 middle fingers right here, okay? Just like that. On again, off again. Learn those 3 chords, okay? Okay, so now you've learned how to play A, D, and E, which is called the 1, 4, 5. And those chords go together. There's tons of songs I can play with this. I mean, I can sing like Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. So that's a little high for me. I'd probably change it to a different key, but you get the idea. Now, moving between these chords, again, working this left hand, trying to get that muscle memory down. What we want to do is we start with our A chord and we move from A to D. Okay, I want to do this, A to D. If I look at these first 2 fingers, I just want to put those 2 down and then drop the third, A to D. Then I'm moving back from D to A. And then I want to move from A to E. Real simple right here on A to E. Look at your 2 middle fingers. Now, the mind wants to tell us, put the first finger down and then the other 2 first. And that's okay and everything. But when I'm getting in a transition of trying to strum, this is much easier if I just look at these 2 middle fingers and move them up 1 string, then I can drop this one. It's a lot faster transition moving from A to E. Okay, now strumming, what we want to do, as we strum, real simple strum pattern right here, I'm just going to strum down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Okay? And if you say it, you will play it. Okay? A lot of people try to do this without saying it. And I said, just say it out loud as you play until that muscle memory comes. So we're going to do 2 chords of each. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. I'm going to the D. Down, down, up, down. There you go, the key of A. There's your first lesson on how to play A, D, and E. And you can play a ton of songs with those 3 chords. I mean, the one that comes to mind with me is like Wild Thing. Wild thing, you make my heart sing. There's tons of fun songs to play with that. That's usually one of the first songs I teach everybody. And hey, it's Jimi Hendrix. It can't be all that bad, right? Okay, guys, just as a wrap up, now that you know how to play A, D, and E, you can kind of start practicing with your strumming and your playing. Let's talk about practicing. We really want to practice short, focused practices, okay? 15 minutes. That's not very long. If you can do 20 minutes, that's better, but you don't need to practice for an hour, okay? The best way to learn with muscle memory is short, focused practices, and just practice for 20 minutes. And then go away and go do something else and come back. If you want to practice 2 or 3 times a day, 20 minutes, that's great. But a minimum 1 day a week. And if the weekend comes around, you go off and stuff, oh, I forgot to practice. No big deal. Try to get 5 days of practice for 20 minutes. It's not that difficult. You'll be playing guitar in no time. All right? Enjoy this. It's a great instrument. I've been playing it for 35 years, and I wanted to share the love that I have of it with you guys so you guys can enjoy too. God bless, and have a great week.